Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of Blitz Universe. I am your father, says Darth Vader against Luke, and says a Sherman to the T6E1. This came up on my main account as a 24-hour only offer to buy the little tank, and yeah, we're looking at it now. I'm sitting behind the bush because I notice my team is sort of driving around at Falls Creek, but this tank, it is the daddy of the Sherman. This is the prototype. We're going to flick a little bit of history into the video as well after this game on Falls Creek, but you can already see it is a Sherman with a stubby gun barrel. It has two counterweights on the front of the gun barrel to balance the gun. It has a cupola still on top, which was due to this tank coming actually straight from the M3 Lee series of tanks, and you have two rounded bits of doors on the left and the right hand side of the hull. And yes, these are actually doors which were on the M3 Lee in several variations. Some of them were square, some of them were round, and on the cast hull, which was the M3A1 Lee version, they were round. So this is the missing link between the M3 Lee and the Sherman. It's a tier 4 tank. It's an actual premium tank, which kind of surprised me, because a lot of the tier 4 tanks have now got the collector's status or collectible status, which means that they are not proper premium tanks. This one still is, and I've done a little bit of digging on the internet, doing some research, so I won't make any stupid mistakes on tanks. And this one was on a test server back in February 2018. And I think that that is actually the reason why this tank is a proper premium. It was a proper premium tank back then. And I think somebody at Wargaming just forgot to flick the switch. And this one still is a proper premium tank and not a collectible, which would make sense if it had been introduced to the test server, say, about 4 months ago. But hey ho, like I said, proper premium tank, makes some decent credits, but it has suffered from the changes in the new player experience. So the gun does only 120 alpha per shot and takes well, nearly forever to load. It's not as long as, say, the Panzer 4D, but it's still quite a lengthy reload. The penetration, it is bad, and if you're up against tier 5 vehicles like a KV-1, like a BDR, the French tier 5 heavy, then you will suffer. And even against the Black Prince with that fast moving turret, look at that red at the front of the turret on my AP. Of course I could switch to APCR, but then my damage per shot would drop to 105. The tank itself, mobile enough, not brilliant, not epic, not OP at all, but it is a fun tank to drive. And I decided to just go around the Matilda Black Prince because the game was won anyway. And look at this, 20k credits on a tier 4 tank, not too shabby for a first class medal as well. Let's take a look at the results, and then we'll hop into a little bit of history and then 2 more little games, and then I'll tell you if it's worth buying this tank or not. Tank encyclopedia for this one, medium tank T6, the birth of the Sherman. And you can see that the model in the game itself, that's actually pretty good. You have the machine guns on the front, you have the gun with the counterweight there, you have the doors. This one looks really good. And I'm just going to scroll down slightly through this side. And the reason I'm showing you this, because this is advertised as a historical tank. Tiger 131 is not, but that's a different story. That's just a shame. We'll get to that later. But even look at this. Look at the engine deck and then compare it to the engine deck of the T6E1 in-game. It's actually a pretty good looking tank, and it looks the part. It has the machine guns on the front. It has the doors on the side, as you can see. And like I said, if you want to know about tanks, Tank Encyclopedia, that's a really good site to go through. Let's go to the front page just very quickly. The first online tank museum, as they call it. And they have a lot of stuff going on. A very good Facebook page as well. World War I tanks, World War II tanks, Cold War tanks, the lot, all sorted by nations. Well worth taking a look at this website. And I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. Also read the article on the T6E1, which the link will lead you directly to. But let's not talk too much. Let's deactivate nerd mode. We're going to watch 2 more battles. One of them is on Himmelsdorf, and this is a funny one. This is a funny battle. You could classify this one as a poo-poo game because I don't really perform. There's a scavenger on the reds. There are a lot of Wi-Fi T-34s on the reds as well, and yeah, they can hit hard. And those Wi-Fi T-34 tanks have troll armor, so I bounce my shot, and then I have to wait about, well, more or less than 10 seconds before I can finally shoot him again. And he's trying to roll around the corner. I'm going to snatch a kill for a very appalling 23 damage. But who cares? We killed the tank. And if you can kill a tank, then it's good. And then you can shoot this tank for 136. And this is starting to look good. Right, we've done 2 penetrating shots. So far so good. Popped the adrenaline just a bit too late. Would have been able to shoot that Wi-Fi tank, but can't shoot that one. Just look at the turret. Of course it's the front of the turret, but my penetration, it's on this gun, it's just bad. It is bad. It is really bad. The DPM is not good. It's 671 base in a tier 4 battle. That's middle of the pack. You do 120 alpha damage, which is kind of goodish, but if you are in a tier 5 battle, there's nothing to write home about. Aim time, bad. Dispersion, it's bad. On the move, quite good actually. When rotating, that's quite good. Good impression, 10 degrees. Yes, lovely. Elevation, 20 degrees. Aiming arc, yeah, that's a fully rotatable turret. That goes with a lot of tanks. They have fully rotatable turrets, so that's not a selling point at all. And as said, your penetration numbers: 90, 125 on APCR, and 38 on HE. Nothing to write home about at all. Which still allowed me to get 4 kills. For a whopping 286 in terms of damage, which means I've done less than 3 shots damage worth of alpha. Where that shot went, I have no idea. But we're going to shoot this Wi-Fi T-34 again and do 123 damage. So I've done 4 kills for 409 damage. And look at the bottom of the screen. Click, 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 click. Come on, give me a kill, give me a kill, yeah, give me a kill. I got 5 kills, and I've done nothing. I've done 431. And did I mention again that the dispersion on the gun it's pretty bad? Still, sometimes you get hit shots like this. I don't know if it has anything to do with me buying a new premium tank, but sometimes you get those shots and you press fire and it sails in, and even this one. It doesn't do damage. But I still track him in place. And then he gets a cruise kill where his turret traverses a little bit quicker because I'm close. And how I got stuck here on this wall, I have no idea. And God, took 3. Could you just fire a little bit quicker so I wouldn't die? Anyways, I got 5 kills. I am going to get myself a nice Nichols medal as well. Look at the 2nd class Top Gun Nichols medal for killing 4 tanks with a medium tank in one battle, and they have to be 1 tier higher for a whopping 544 damage. Oh, I love games like this. It is a poo-poo game. I'm on top of the list in terms of XP, so that's good. And credits and all, it's not too bad either, not too shabby, but I wanted to include that one because I thought it was a fun game. And this one's also fun. This is actually the 2nd game I played on this one. The first one was a mines game where we just rushed the hill and then we shot the enemy to pieces and we shared the damage. But this is a game which you will get if you buy this tank against lower tier tanks. You are, after all, a tier 4 tank. You will get a lot of new players. I've had players against me with 100 games done. Less than 100 games done. 200. I've also had seal clubbing teams against me. So it's a mixed bag in that regard. But yeah, this is also a game which shows the tank to its strengths and also to its weaknesses, because aiming time and everything. And yeah, this is again of one of those funky, wobbly, dibbity-dub tanks. Skip forward a little bit, replace. Yeah. Is it then worth the money? Let's just fast forward to the verdict. Is it worth the money? Well, I paid 10 euros for the tank, which is stupid for a tier 4 premium tank, which isn't even brilliant. But it's a Sherman. I had to get it. I was drooling at Tankfest over Michael, one of the first M4 Shermans built. Actually, probably the first one, maybe the third one, but the oldest surviving Sherman in the world. I was drooling over it, and this one just had to come into my collection. It's a tank that has good gun depression. It moves around like an M4, like an Easy 8, like a Firefly. And in that regard, I like the tank. But is it a tank that you should buy? I think it's more of a collector's tank. It is a historical model, and as said, I like that. I haven't bought Tiger 131, and I won't buy it because the model is just bad. It's just... It has the wrong cupola. It has a headlight on the front which is not there on the original tank. So yeah, this one does look a lot better. And I think actually the camouflage, you can fit camouflage over these numbers. And I like that. It is historically accurate. It is not a scheme so you don't get camouflage with your 11 euros for the tank, which is a bit of a pity. It does come with full equipment slots unlocked, which is yeah, a bit gimmicky, but at least the equipment slots are unlocked, and I do expect that at this price for a tier 4 tank. But it is a fun tank to play. Nothing that will really raise your win rate because it is, or maybe kind of OP. It will raise your win rate probably because you are clubbing seals. But if you are a collector, if you are a fan of Sherman tanks, you will know what you get. Look at that damage, 1000. Like that as well. Did a little bit of spotting on a few of the tanks. I'm gonna take a look at that in the efficiency tab. I didn't do as much spotting on that M5 Stewart as I actually thought I had, but I kind of compensated for that against the SU-85B and the Hatzer. So yeah. Is it a tank that you must add to your collection? Hell no, it's a tier 4 medium tank. But it's a Sherman, it's the daddy of the Sherman, I had to get it. Ladies and gentlemen, tankers of Blitz Universe, my name is Martin Dogger. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all on the next video. Cheers and happy tanking!